Well, our newsmaker tonight, leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Arun Jaitley. I spoke to him a short while back and I began by asking him that Mr. Jaitley, so much is being said these days about your showpiece Chief Minister, Narendra Modi. And a lot is being said by both sides. First, let me put to you the questions which you yourself are trying to raise against the UPA as far as the UPA's reaction to Narendra Modi is concerned. You've written a very elaborate article today, Mr. Jaitley, where you've leveled a very serious allegation that the UPA government is misusing the Central Bureau of Investigation to the extent of now questioning Intelligence Bureau findings in Isha Jahan murder case. According to you, sir, is this all a ploy which has been worked out simply to bring down Narendra Modi in the election year?
Well, this has nothing to do with Mr. Modi, because this case is motivated by the UPA's desire to just continue to embarrass the Gujarat police and Gujarat government. Here are cases where admittedly the module in question was a Lashkar-e-Taiba module. There is overwhelming evidence of the Central Intelligence Bureau having informed the state police that a module is active in western part of the country with the ostensible object of trying to attack one of the senior most political leaders in the country. And when the IB acts only in order to harass the Gujarat police and the Gujarat government, you are going to the extent of an investigative agency investigating the sources of information of the Intelligence Bureau, the authenticity of those sources, and the complicity of the Intelligence Bureau. Are you going to unravel the entire security apparatus of this country merely because you have a partisan interest in trying to harass the Gujarat government?
But sir, let me put it this way. What's the illegality if the Central Bureau of Investigation, after conducting perhaps its own due diligence, comes to this conclusion that maybe what has been arrived at by the Gujarat Intelligence Bureau isn't necessarily the correct conclusion?
I think it will be a very sad day if the mode of intelligence collection in this country, if the authenticity of intelligence collection, the tactics deployed by our security and intelligence agencies are all made subject matter of judicial review. If that were to happen, I think it will be a serious setback to India's security apparatus.
But now that this alleged fake encounter case in Gujarat has ended up raising some very serious questions against two of your party's state home ministers, Amit Shah in Gujarat and Gulab Chand Kataria in Rajasthan, are you saying that both these individuals are totally innocent and there is absolutely nothing against them?
Well, I have gone through the charge sheets in both the cases. It's either cases of negligible evidence. In the case of Gujarat, in the case of Rajasthan, the charge sheet reads like almost fiction.
You say everything around Narendra Modi, any accusation which is leveled against him is a work of fiction. But I find it very strange, Mr. Jaitley, that on one hand, you say that Modi is being targeted by the Congress, but I see that Modi is also being targeted by sections of your own party. So far, you've attacked the Congress party, but now please defend your own party. What do you make of Mr. Advani, for instance, the grand old man of the BJP, saying Narendra Modi is arrogant, while the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan is humble, like Atal Bihari Vajpayee?
I don't think Mr. Advani ever said that Mr. Modi is arrogant. I think the problem is that some people have in analyzing Mr. Advani's statements. Now, if he goes to Madhya Pradesh and compliments the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister for the good things that he has done, the media would like to see it in contradistinction to somebody else. It's not necessary. After all, in the same speech, Mr. Advani also had very nice things to say about the Gujarat development.
Sir, but let's be candid. What does Mr. Advani mean when he uses the word arrogance when he's talking about one chief minister, which was Narendra Modi? But in the same speech, he chooses to use a different word, humility, to describe another chief minister like Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Would you then not admit that Mr. Advani effectively is arguing for against any larger role to be given to Mr. Modi?
Well, I think the media is making more than what actually meets the eye. In a meeting in Gwalior in Madhya Pradesh, if good things are said about the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister, this need not amount to a stricture against other Chief Ministers. I think we are reading too much into it. Secondly, when you say that a developed state or a well-to-do state has been developed further, let us not forget one thing in the context of Gujarat. A state which is already developed, to sustain for 7-8 years a 10% growth rate in that state, to have from 2% to 12% an agricultural growth rate in that state, to develop infrastructure to this level, to attract investment to this level, to do it in a developed state where the base of the economy is much larger, is extremely challenging, and I must say that the Gujarat government and Mr. Modi have been able to do that.
Now, you're saying both things. How do you then respond, sir, to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, for instance, saying that he is the number 3 in the BJP? I mean, since this controversy broke, it almost seemed as if everyone in the BJP was rushing in to do damage control and somehow try and appease Mr. Modi. What does Shivraj Singh Chauhan mean when he says that Mr. Modi is number 1, Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Raman Singh is number 2 and he is also his senior? Am I to understand that there is some kind of a Modi-determined hierarchy, sir, within the BJP?
There is no hierarchy. Since the media was trying to make too much out of Mr. Advani's statement, and Shivraj, being a man of great humility and etiquette, I think had no qualms about saying that I regard others, whether it's Mr. Modi or Dr. Raman Singh, as my seniors, and I think it's only a measure of Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan's etiquette and humility that he was gracious enough to make that statement.
Sir, let me put this question directly before you. Is it not true that L.K. Advani still looks at himself as a possible prime ministerial candidate, which is why he's raising all these obstacles against Narendra Modi?
No, I think you are being a little too harsh on his comments. He's a very senior person in the party. He has been a kind of a guide to the party all these years. From a state when we had only 2 members of parliament, he is amongst the 2 senior leaders who guided the party and brought us into power. And therefore, his contribution to this party can never be understated. Now, today, if he writes or speaks, we listen with rapt attention and respect to every word that he says. I think it's unfair to start imputing motives to that comments when he makes them. He is expected to be frank with the party, and that's a style which he has adopted over the years.
But then, Mr. Jaitley, in a few days from now, you will be meeting in Goa for your party's national executive meeting. Tell me, what's the possibility of a final decision being taken on Mr. Modi's ambition to make himself more visible at the national level? What's the possibility of such a decision being taken?
Every party has a dynamics of its own decision-making process. I can only tell you that the ground level support for Mr. Modi within the BJP and in the country is huge. And obviously, therefore, he is a target of a lot of media attention, and every statement that we make is seen in that context. Everybody in the party acknowledges that. Now, the dynamics of a decision-making process will lead us to take a logical decision at some stage. Now, when that decision comes, I think you should be patient enough to leave it to the party.
All right, that's been your stated position for a very long time, Mr. Jaitley, that an appropriate announcement will be made at an appropriate time as far as Narendra Modi's role is concerned. But let me then take you to your other big passion, cricket. You were a part of that BCCI working committee meeting, which met just a couple of days back, where ostensibly a decision was taken to remove Mr. Srinivasan from the post of BCCI presidency. Please explain to me, sir, once and for all, what is the reality? Is Mr. Srinivasan still the BCCI president? What is this method that you have worked out between Mr. Srinivasan and Jagmohan Dalmia?
Well, I've already commented on this 2 days ago, and I don't think there is a need for any further clarification. In the BCCI working committee, I had raised this issue which I had raised with Mr. Srinivasan from the day of the IPL final in Calcutta. That because of all these controversies surrounding a close relative of his, it's only fair that he steps aside, allows an independent probe to go on, and somebody else discharges the functions. And therefore, he's in the meeting, after a lot of members supported this view that I had raised, agreed to step aside. He has stepped aside. On paper, he is certainly the president, but he will discharge no functions in relation to the BCCI, and those functions will be discharged by the working committee with Mr. Dalmia leading it. That's the present arrangement.
But then how do you respond to the likes of Congress leader Digvijay Singh, who've tweeted saying that Mr. Jaitley and Anurag Thakur, your colleague from the BJP and also member of the BCCI, keep demanding resignation of UPA ministers, but when it comes to their own body, such as the BCCI, Mr. Jaitley cannot ensure the resignation of the BCCI president?
Well, the tragedy with Mr. Digvijay Singh's party is that when members commit acts of corruption, they neither resign nor step aside. Unfortunately, there is no provision for sitting aside pending inquiry in politics. Therefore, people resign. If they are vindicated, they come back. He must realize the reality of politics.
But you see, sir, the muck in cricket really seems to be deepening. How do you respond to all this criticism now, which is being mounted against none other than the Indian captain, Mahendra Singh Dhoni himself? This whole conflict of interest case which is being mounted against Dhoni, that he had floated a player management company and he was managing players who he himself was choosing to play for the Indian team. Do you believe that this is a case of conflict of interest?
I don't want to get into this issue because as a member of the disciplinary committee, I don't know when some of these issues come to us in another capacity, and therefore it's not fair for me to express myself on these issues.
Okay, you don't want to get into that, but let me then finally ask you this question, that today the Delhi police has asked for slapping of Makoka charges against 3 cricketers. Do you believe, sir, that this IPL spot fixing scandal is so huge so as to have Makoka charges being slapped against cricketers?
Well, I haven't examined those FIRs. I haven't examined, no charge sheet has been filed as yet. And therefore, I don't think it's necessary for me to get into that controversy at this stage.
All right, Arun Jaitley there speaking on India at 9 on a host of issues.